So this video is to demonstrate how to invoice a course fee. And so course fees are things that are used for things like in payment plans. So this video is to demonstrate how to invoice for one of those and pay it off. So you can actually look like and show your student being paid off in their payment plan. So the system actually requires quite a bit of things to have done before we actually get to this stage. So basically, you would have need to have, if you're into doing commissions with international students and agents, you would have need to have set up agents, commission fee rules, and make sure that your course enrollment has a an agent and commission amount assigned, and that you actually have a fee plan and have created a fee plan for the student, and then you can go ahead and invoice and pay off a course fee to show that they're paying their payment plan off. So the first thing I'm going to do here is actually load the student and do one more check to make sure that we can actually invoice between certain dates of the course fees that we would like to invoice, and that is done in the System tab. We then come into Edit Time Period, and inside Edit Time Period, we can actually choose a type called Configuration Period, search for that, and we have a configuration here period called Invoicing. And so in this particular example, we can see that we're going to be able to invoice course fees between two particular dates. In this case, anything between 2018 and 2021. So if we didn't want to invoice, say, course fees into the future, we could bring this back to, say, 2020, and then we'd only be able to invoice course fees that fall between those two particular dates. These two dates also control the system when it's doing bulk invoicing. So we're now going to go back to the summary screen and quickly have a look at this student. And I know if I put my mouse over here, it shows me their fee plan summary over their institution that they're studying with. It shows me their fee plan summary, and so we can see the total cost of their course fee plan, the total amount paid, how much they have outstanding, how much they currently have outstanding. So if they've currently missed ones, and they would be in red there as well, and when their next payment is due. So this next person's payment's not due till 2020. So what I'm going to do, also check, you didn't have to do this stage, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like, is I'm actually going to go to course enrollment and go to unit fees edit, and from that we can also see the course fees in their payment plan, and go and see what's happening and when they're due. So as you can see here, this first person's first one, which they've already paid, was due on the 1st of the 7th, and they're paying their next one on the 1st of the 1st, 2020. And this is the one we're actually going to receipt and pay off today with a net payment from an agent. So I'm pretty happy that everything looks like it's set up in the system. And so now I'm actually going to go to student accounting and go to summary. And I am basically going to create a new invoice. I'm having a look at all the course fees and the fact that they've got a previous invoice, there's no money, and the previous payment. So I'm pretty happy with all that. I'm going to go to invoices, and I'm going to create a new enrollment invoice, and you'll always do these as enrollment invoices. I'm going to check out the header. The header here looks good. I'm actually going to choose a semester to associate this with, and I'm pretty happy with the rest of the header. And now I'm just going to do save invoice. So now that I've got an invoice header, I can now add an invoice item. So I'm going to go to add invoice items, and here we can see a list of items. I don't want to add all of them. I actually only want to add one because I want to do one particular course fee on this particular invoice. So I'm going to untick all of them, and I'm actually going to say I want to do course fee 2, which is this one, this particular one here. And This is where you need to know if you're going to be paying this invoice off with a net or gross payment. If you're going to be paying this invoice off with a net payment, so that's a payment from an agent, you do this option, which adds commission items and tax items to the invoice. And if you're going to do a gross payment, you just add it without it. So in this case, I'm going to do add selected items with commissions because I'm going to do this one as a net payment from an agent. So I just say add selected as items and commissions. And now I have got a payment amount, a course fee with the particular commission and GST viable that I need to pay off. So I'm pretty happy with that, and it all looks good to me, and that's what I want to pay off. I'm now going to edit this invoice, and I'm basically going to set it to send status because you can only apply payments to invoices that are in send status. So once I have done that, I'm going to go to accounting summary again, and I'm now going to pay off this invoice. So that brings me to this screen, and you can see in here at the top of the header that the gross amount for this invoice is going to be $7,000. And because I'm doing a net payment, I'm actually going to copy that into memory so I can keep a track of it. And I am basically going to now scroll to the bottom of this particular screen and create a new payment. So by default, the amount we're receiving from the agent is that much. We want to say the student should have sent us $7,000, or they should have sent us $7,000 for if it was being paid gross. This just happens to be a net payment, and I'm happy with the rest of that information. So now I'm going to do save new payment. And now that I have done that, it's come back and said that my payment was created successfully. You need to make sure that when you're saving these payment amounts, you don't put a $sign or any characters in here. You can only have numbers. And now it's got here, I've got my invoice, and I can possible payments to apply to this invoice is that much. And once I apply this payment, this invoice is now fully paid off, and there's nothing more to do. It's a completely paid off invoice. If we go back to the accounting summary screen, we can now see that we've got the second invoice paid off. From here, you can print an invoice, and you can also print receipts for payments. And the last thing to check to see how this student's going now is to go back to the summary screen, and we can see from this pop-up when we go over the student that now their total amount remaining has gone down and the total amount paid has gone up, and the next payment is due not now to July 2020. That concludes this video. I hope it helps.